Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up OmniSEO Google indexing so you can index your websites on demand with Google Search Console API. Let's get started. As a first step, we're going to log in to OmniSEO app. And now let's locate Google indexing menu item on the left and let's click on it. Now what we see is the empty list of service accounts. Let's add a new one by clicking on Create New Service Account. To create a new service account on OmniSEO app, you need a Google Cloud Service Account key. Let me show you how you can generate it. So let's open a new tab in the browser and type Google Cloud Platform. Then we're interested in the first URL on the list. So let's click on this one. And now, if you already have a Google Cloud Platform account, you can just sign in and skip this part. If not, please follow my steps since I'm gonna show you how to create it. So to create a new Google account, I'm gonna go ahead and click on Get Started for Free. Now Google asked me to sign in with my standard Google account. So I'm gonna choose one and just sign in. And what I'm presented with is this screen where I'm supposed to choose the country, which is in my case is United Kingdom, and what best describes your organization or needs. I'm going to go for small company. Then I need to agree with terms and conditions and click on Continue button. On the next page, you're gonna have to provide your business details or personal if you act as an individual, as well as credit or debit card details. Don't worry, Google is not going to charge you. They just need the card to verify that you are human. So what I'm gonna do now is to fill up all of these details. And in the end, you should see this screen with a welcome message. I'm just going to close it and skip for now. Okay, at this point, my account is created and I'm signed in. So what I'm gonna do now is to select the project. There is a default project already selected here, and it's called My First Project. So when you click here, you can see the list of the projects. There are 3 tabs. The recent ones and all are what we are interested in usually. And now, for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to show you how to create a new one. So we're going to skip creating a service account on this project. I'm going to create a completely new one. So to create a new project, I'm going to click in the top right corner of this pop-up on a new project. Let's give our project a name. So maybe OmniSEO example. And then let's click on Create button. After a few seconds in the top right corner, we should see the notification about new project being created. Let's click on Select Project to switch to this newly created project. And then after clicking, we want to click somewhere else. And maybe let's refresh the page. Okay, now we can see this newly created project is selected. By the way, there is an alternative way of selecting the project, and that's by clicking here and just clicking on the one that we want to select on this list. But I want to keep OmniSEO example selected. So I'm gonna click on Cancel. And now before I show you how to create a service account and service account key, I'm gonna have to enable Google Indexing API. So what we wanna do is to click on the menu button on the top left corner, then hover the mouse over APIs and Services and click on Enabled APIs and Services. Then let's click on Enable APIs and Services button. And on the API libraries page, let's search for indexing API and press enter. Then we want to click on indexing API and click on enable button to switch this API on for this project. Make sure to enable indexing API for every project that you plan to connect with OmniSEO app. Otherwise, you'll get a permission error in the end. Okay, now having the indexing API enabled, let's create a service account. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the menu again, the top left corner, then hover my mouse over I am an admin and click on service accounts. Then from the menu on the top, I'm gonna click on create service account button. And now in the form below, we are supposed to provide a service account ID. So maybe let's go for something like OmniSEO, example, SVC, ACC, as for the service account. Then let's click on create and continue and on a done button. By the way, for OmniSEO app, we recommend having one service account with one key per project. Okay, service account created. Now finally, we can generate service account key so we can go back to OmniSEO panel and finish the setup. So let's click on the three dots button over here, then on manage keys, add key, and create a new key. And here we want to leave a JSON as a key type and go ahead and click on create button over here. After clicking, we should be able to save this file with the key on our disk. So I'm just gonna click save and the file has been saved on my computer. And this is the key that we need to upload on OmniSEO page. I'm gonna show you in a second, but before I do that, I'm just gonna mention that Google Cloud account gives you space for 20 projects. Then for every project with service account integrated with OmniSEO, you get 200 indexing requests. And these requests can be sent daily. So in total, if you create 20 projects on Google Cloud account and integrate with OmniSEO app, you can send up to 4,000 indexing requests a day. Okay, now let's go back to OmniSEO app. And what we're gonna do now is to click on upload key button and select the file with the key from the disk. So it's this one. Then click on open and on create service account button. Okay, looks like we've got a success. Let's go ahead and add a domain to this service account. So I'm gonna click on go to service account domains and then on add a new domain. Let's provide the domain name. Let's select the protocol. That's gonna be HTTPS in my case. And let's click on add domain button. Okay, domain created. Now the next step is to add domain URLs. So I'm gonna go back to domain list and then click on this button to add URLs to this domain. The simplest method here is to use a download URLs button. This functionality pulls the URLs from the sitemap.txt file. So first make sure we have sitemap.txt. So let's go and let's visit this domain. So I'm going to open a new tab in my browser. And this is the example page. When I change the URL path to sitemap.txt and press enter, what I'm getting is the list of the URLs on this domain, on this website. So with that file being in place and having a correct list, I can go back to OmniSEO app and just go ahead and click on Download URLs button. And after a few seconds, we can see all of the URLs imported here on this list. Okay, now before we can start sending these URLs to Google Index, we have to confirm that we own the domain. And also, we have to grant permissions to the Google Indexing API for our service account. The fastest way to confirm all of this is to attempt to send indexing request for any of the URLs. So you can pick any URL, and what you have to do is to click on Index URL button. So I'm just gonna do it now. And what I've got is this pop-up. There was an issue with your request. And what we also received is the instructions how to confirm the ownership. So let's just follow these instructions here. This is to enable indexing API. We've already done this, so we don't need to click on that link. Then, domain ownership verification. This is something I haven't done yet. So I'm just going to click on this link. And that took me to my Google Search Console. Here, I'm supposed to verify the ownership of example omniseo.app. So I'm just gonna click on verify your ownership button. And now I have to modify DNS records for my domain. I'm just gonna do it quickly. I added TXT record and I'm going to click on verify. Okay, ownership verified. So now I can click on done and go back to OmniSEO app to check instructions on granting indexing permissions to Google Cloud Service account. So this is also pretty straightforward. We just need to start from clicking on this URL. That's gonna take me again to Google Search Console. Then in the Google Search Console, I'm gonna have to add a user. And here I'm supposed to provide a service account email. So let's go back to OmniSEO app to the instructions on granting indexing permissions, and there should be the email of the service account that I'm supposed to copy and paste into user and permissions, add user form with a permission of owner. Then I'm gonna go ahead and click on add button. And after a few seconds, that should grant permissions for this OmniSEO example SVC service account to perform indexing API requests. Okay, let's go back to OmniSEO app again. And I think that was the last step. So we can close this pop-up now. And finally, we've got everything confirmed. At this point, we should be able to send indexing requests straight to Google. With OmniSEO app, we have two methods that we can use to do that. The first one is a request on demand, and it's this button. When clicked, it sends an immediate request to Google Indexing API, so the website should expect a quick visit from Googlebot, usually within a second. I'm just going to demonstrate by clicking on this button. And after a few seconds, we got a pop-up with the confirmation. So I'm just gonna close it now. Then the second method of sending indexing requests is more of a hands-off approach, and it's this auto index off on toggle. When switched on, OmniSEO app is going to take care of sending regular indexing requests to Google Search Console. And by the way, if you have more than 200 URLs per service account, you can also have more domains than one, then this feature is going to take care of rotating all of these URLs. So even though there are certain limits like 200 requests per day, you can have more URLs here because our OmniSEO app is going to take care of rotating URLs for you. And now before we finish, I would like to point out these two additional features that we have with Google indexing. And this is in-index from in connection with status that gives us information about current Google results. So basically, for our example OmniSEO app, let's say for /index.html, status not in index means that we cannot find this website with this URL in Google search results. And this can be confirmed with this button. When we click on it, we are taken to a Google search for this particular site, and it says this website is not in a search results, right? So it reflects that status in here. In index from, this is the date from when the particular website can be found in a search results. And finally, bot visited at, which is a separate feature. It gives us a date of a last bot visit, but it only works for websites integrated with our bot detection API. And that concludes this video tutorial. If you're interested in finding out more about OmniSEO features, check out bot detection and cloud staking videos.